How many games have been announced in the last few days? 300 isn't a stretch, but I don't feel like counting. Hello lovelies, and welcome to the first episode of Things I Found Interesting, where I tell you about gaming news I found interesting throughout the week. This first one is a doozy, since Summer Games Fest is going on right now on the grave of E3. May it and the decade-old dream I've had of going to an E3 in my lifetime rest in peace. Just a quick note that if you didn't see my Twitter page, I am no longer streaming on Twitch, since they've literally banned multi-streaming for everyone. I still stream here on YouTube, but will also be streaming on Kick. There are far too many games and showcases to cover everything, but I'm going to do my best and just cover the things that I guess I found interesting. This first video is about the opening showcase, and I'm just gonna rapid fire through all the games I want to talk about. We got an in-depth look at Mortal Kombat 1, which is a complete reboot of the franchise that promises to introduce a new fighting system, game modes, and fatalities. We also got a look at raw gameplay of Alan Wake 2, which I am so hyped for. I have waited 13 years for this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new gameplay and horror direction they've taken with it. We also got a look at what's in store for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Though I'll admit I've never played the PS1 Classic, and I'm waiting until this winter to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, as we have a release window of January of next year. I still haven't played Like a Dragon Ishin, but we're already getting Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name on November 9th, 2023. It tells the story of what happened to Kiryu Kazuma between Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 7. We also got a release date for Spider-Man 2, which is October 20th, and I don't know how I'm going to play that and Alan Wake 2 at the same time, since Alan Wake 2, by the way, is also coming out in October. Sandland is an action RPG based on the manga written by Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama. That's about all I know, since I've never even heard of that manga until now. About 3 years after its early access release, we're finally getting Baldur's Gate 3 on August 31st, 2023. We're getting another multiplayer zombie first-person shooter next year called John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I sure hope for their sake that things go better for them than Back 4 Blood. Nicolas Cage is coming to Dead by Daylight as himself. I don't play the game, but that's pretty amusing. The hack-and-slash game Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is releasing sometime this year, and I've considered playing the first, or maybe just jumping into this one, I don't know. We have a new Prince of Persia game called Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is great, since the last game released forever ago, but I'm not a fan of the Metroidvania direction they took with it after watching the trailer. It's releasing on January 18th, 2024. Wayfinder is a presumably PvE action MMO that mentions modifiers and challenges that you control, letting you choose exactly the kinds of adventures you and your friends go on. There's no release date. Throne and Liberty is another MMO with no release date by NCSoft and Amazon Games. Boy, I really hope that one does better than New World did. Another MMO that I've played plenty of, Black Desert Online, is getting an expansion called Land of the Morning Light, inspired by the last dynastic kingdom of Korea, the Joseon Dynasty. Another excuse to get me crawling back to that game once again. Honkai Star Rail is getting ports for PlayStation 4 and 5 after having its initial PC and mobile release date back in April. Sonic Superstars is a return to the classic storytelling and gameplay of the old games that I'm sure fans will be ecstatic about, releasing fall of this year. Lies of P may as well be the sequel to Bloodborne, having the same gameplay and aesthetic as that game, and is releasing on September 23rd of this year. And another action multiplayer game called Warhaven being made by Nexon. Also no release date. Crash Team Rumble is a 4v4 competitive game that's only about a week away on June 20th, 2023. Despite Crash Bandicoot 1 on the PS1 being the very game that got me into video games as a kid, I gotta be honest that I'm not really interested in this, but I mentioned it anyway. And that's everything I wanted to mention in this first episode of Things I Found Interesting. Subscribe and keep up to date on new gaming news, and like and comment below the games you're looking forward to, because I'm desperate for attention. Just kidding. I'll see you lovelies later. Johnny!